You got a beard, mustache, long hair, it doesn't matter. Go to schmuckedup.com and use code HANDBOOK to get 15% off of premium, small batch, handmade beard care products. Get your hands on some of that fantastic balm, oil, and beard shampoo and conditioner. And ladies, this isn't just something for men with beards. You can use beard balm to tame the flyaways when you put your hair up. So go over there, again, code HANDBOOK for 15% off. We'll see you there. Oh my God, you're such an asshole. And welcome to another episode of Am I the Asshole, where I tell you if you are indeed a cunt. But that's okay, we'll figure it out. This one starts off with, am I the asshole for putting my feet on the seat in the car and suggesting my brother-in-law walk if he had a problem? I'm assuming you're saying has a problem with something that you said or whatever. But let's find out. I was wearing high heels all day, so my feet were killing me by the time we were driving home. So I took my shoes off and sat cross-legged on the seat. My feet weren't touching anybody, but my brother-in-law was sitting next to me and it turned into a big deal. Apparently, my feet are so gross to him. He told me to put my feet down and put my shoes on. I refused, so he claimed my feet stink, which was a blatant lie. He did eventually back down on me putting my shoes back on, but he still wanted me to take my feet off the seat. Nobody else had an issue with how I was sitting, and it was my brother-in-law's car, so I got annoyed. It wasn't my brother-in-law's car, so I got annoyed and told him to walk if he had a problem, since I felt like he was just trying to embarrass me at that point. I think he got angry because I told him to walk, because he started arguing with me even more and was getting louder and louder about it too. It got to the point where my husband and mother-in-law both had to tell him to shut the fuck up. Am I the asshole? I don't think you are. You were deemed the asshole here. I don't think you are the asshole. Fucking sit comfortably, dude. Especially if you're in heels all day. And your brother-in-law acting like a fucking child about it. I mean, fucking dude needs to grow the fuck up. So you're sitting cross-legged. And if your feet did stink, which they probably didn't, open a window, motherfucker. We've all been in a car with somebody that farts. Stop being a cunt. Grow up. Be a fucking man. I don't know how old you are, but you're acting like you're fucking 12. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, if you're listening or you're watching on YouTube, do me a huge favor. Subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever. It'd be absolutely fantastic to see who's coming and going and who's watching and who's, doing their thing. So anyway, would love it if you just hit the subscribe and click that little notification bell. This one says, am I the asshole for telling my sister not to eat in her car because it grosses me out? Off the get, yes, you the fuck are. Jesus. Not even your fucking car. I'm 15, learning how to drive in my sister's car, who's 19. My sister and I have very different standards of cleanliness. Her room is always messy. She has no problem re-wearing clothes. She sleeps with our dog. She doesn't wash her face, and she only washes her hair like once or twice a week. I thought that was like how it was supposed to be, like every couple days. Anyway, I knew she eats in her car because her booster seat thing has sesame seeds in the holes, and I sometimes see fast food wrappers in her car, but I can just take off the booster thing and ignore it. I got home the other day and she was eating in her car and there was food everywhere. It was disgusting. When she came inside, I told her to stop eating in her car because it grosses me out. She says it's not my car, so not my choice. But I told her I drive it almost every day. It's still not your fucking car, not your fucking choice. She told me she has 25 minutes to eat and get to work after class, and her work is 15 minutes away from her school, so she's going to eat wherever she wants. And if I have a problem with that, I can buy my own car. Totally true. I told her I can't work if I can't drive, and she said that's not her problem. She hasn't been letting me drive her car because apparently it's disgusting, and she's been kind of bitchy to me, so I wanted to know if I was the asshole for telling her to not eat in her car. Yeah, 100%. And you were rightfully so dubbed the asshole by the fucking community. Not your car, not your fucking problem, not your fucking rules. Bottom line, I'm kind of a clean freak person myself, but, well, according to my friend Josh, who came over to hang out, and I was like cleaning my bathtub, he goes, "You're a fucking clean freak." I was like, "I'm not a clean freak." He goes, "Your place is spotless." It's not. There's stuff on the countertop. He goes, "It's spotless." Anyway, point of the matter is, I understand being like a clean person, but that is not your car, so you don't get a say on whether or not she eats in her car or not. So get the fuck over it and move on, or get your own car, like your sister said. This one's called, "Am I the asshole for being pissed there was no alcohol at a wedding?" Well, I personally think weddings should always have alcohol. But I'll get into it here in a minute. One of my 35 best friends, 34, got married last week. He drinks alcohol, and our friend group will meet up at breweries a few times a month to hang out. His fiance, now wife, does not drink. It's never been a part of her life. My wife and I got a hotel room by the reception space and Ubered to the wedding. The ceremony occurs. We go to what's supposed to be a cocktail hour, and there was just soda and water, no alcohol. This was not something we knew about ahead of time. There was a palpable buzz among our friend group at the lack of booze. A lot of us had spent money on a hotel room and Ubering anticipating drinking. I'm kind of pissed. I fucking would be too. Bride and groom come to cocktail hour. Everyone cheers, and when the bride and groom come mingle with us, I asked, "Where's the booze?" His new wife chimes in saying her family does not drink, and they were not paying for the wedding, and they were paying for the wedding, thus no alcohol. I tell them we should know that ahead of time. I say I wasted money on a hotel room and Ubering. I would have just driven if I'd known, or maybe not even had come. I feel, dude. The bride does not take my commentary well and implies I might have a drinking problem. I don't. I only drink with my friends. The groom says I don't need to be such an asshole. I reiterate that I spent a bunch of money on something I didn't need. We all did. The bride's pissed at me and asked me to leave. My wife and I leave, but it's clear I touched a nerve. In our group chat, friends were mixed on me saying something. My wife said I wasn't wrong, but my timing was wrong. So, was I the asshole? I think the timing and the way you said it was wrong. I've been invited to a wedding that didn't have alcohol, and I was like, well, I'm not going then. Because that's the whole fucking point, is to celebrate. Hard to do that sober. I'm not getting on that dance floor sober. Plus, you got to think about your guests too. Like, it's not all about, I think the wedding that I got invited to, that they were like, we're not having alcohol. I was like, well, I'm not fucking coming. And they were like, well, I've got family that's recovering alcoholics. Like, that's not your fucking problem. That's on them. That's not your fucking problem. if they are strong enough to not drink at your fucking wedding, then that's on them. If they relapse, that's on them. It's not your fault that you got alcohol because 90% of your guests aren't recovering alcoholics. And then the recovering alcoholic decides to have a drink. Not on you. Now, if you tailor your whole ass wedding to this 10% or less, in this case, I'm assuming it's 2% of the wedding guests that don't drink. 1% maybe even. That's fucking annoying. What I would have done though, I wouldn't have said shit, and I would have been like, okay, so there's no booze, so I'm going to sit here, I'm going to have this fucking dinner, and then I'm going to go down the street to the fucking pub and get schlockered with all the rest of the people that want to have drinks. And that's what you do. But yeah, in that case, you were the asshole for the way you said it and the time in which you said it. Rightfully dubbed the asshole. We got another wedding one here, a little bit lengthy, so cut me some slack. Bear with me. Am I the asshole for bringing meat to my sister's vegan wedding? Kind of makes me laugh a little bit, but my sister is a hardcore vegan. She's against all animal cruelty and suffering, and it is one of the main things I admire for her. I have 2 kids, 7 and 5. My sister's wedding allowed kids. I was very grateful for this, as I'm seen as the, quote, overbearing mom. I don't like having babysitters since they're just randos who could do God knows what to my kids. But it also was made clear that it was a vegan wedding. You also should know, too, as a mom, they actually have an app that you can hire a babysitter, and they're licensed CPR, all that other stuff, and you just do it straight through the app. It's kind of like Uber, but for babysitters. Chase has been going through a rough phase where he picks one food and sticks with it for months. I've tried to offer him other foods he likes during these times, but he just wants his chosen item. If he does not get it, he ends up throwing a huge tantrum. I don't support his behavior, and I try and steer him away from it, but sometimes it gets tricky. Understandable, kids. Chase is the 5-year-old male. His chosen food at this time was sausage rolls. Knowing this, I knew that if he got fussy at the wedding, he would cause a disturbance. Cassie also tends to want things that her brother has, but usually gets sick of them after about 2 to 3 weeks. Cassie's the 7-year-old daughter. I had packed a lot of them, since if her brother had ate them all, then Cass would have started an uproar. Damn, your kids are fucking picky, aren't they? Everything was fine until I got asked by my son if there were any sausage rolls. I had given him some and asked Cassie if she wanted any, but she declined, as she had gotten tired of them fairly early. I still had a lot left over, since combined they ate a truckload. One of the guests' sister's friend, Matt, her sister's friend, Matt, must have seen this, since he came over and asked me for one. I didn't think much of it and handed him one. I'm not sure if this is important or not, but not many of my sister's friends are vegan or even vegetarian. A few minutes after Matt had come up to me, 2 more people did. I had declined this time because I felt a little rude, but the friends left with an annoyed expression. The fact that you bring meat to a vegan wedding and like other guests are coming up like, yo, let me get one of them sausage rolls, bro. Slip you a $5. You know what I mean? That's hilarious. My daughter had come back up to me after playing with the other kids and changed her mind and wanted one. I let her grab some, and then she ran again. My sister then came up to me and was glowing red. She started going off on me about how it was her wedding and how I couldn't just hand out non-vegan food to others since it was disrespectful. I tried to explain to her that it was just for my kids, but when she had told me that, quote, no one else's kids are acting like this, they're all fine with the food. Maybe if you were a better parent, Chase wouldn't be in this phase to begin with. Fuck you, bitch. That's all I'm saying. Like I said earlier, I'm a bit of an overbearing mother, so when she had said that, I just snapped. I yelled about how her closest friends didn't even like her food. Most of the food was prepared by her, and some other immature, hateful things. I got up and left with my kids, arguing while walking out. Yeah, you overreacted for sure. This is where you're the asshole now, right? My sister has blocked me on everything, and our parents and friends are calling me the asshole for walking out on the wedding over something so small, and that I should just apologize. But until she takes back what she said about my kids, I'm making zero effort for her. I don't think you're the asshole for bringing meat to your sister's vegan wedding, but I think you're the asshole for the way you reacted. I guess your reaction to what she said makes you the asshole. Although her saying what she did say, would she say, no one else's kids are acting blah 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 food. If you were a better parent, yeah, that's none of her fucking business, and she should have shut her fucking mouth right there. But you reacting to that the way you did also makes you guys are both the fucking asshole here. She shouldn't have said what she said, and you shouldn't have acted the way you acted at a wedding, nonetheless. No, I don't think you're an asshole for bringing meat to a wedding, but I think that that whole conversation about you being a bad parent, that should have been the topic of conversation of whether or not you're the asshole. Hey, if you've made it this far and you're on whatever you're listening to, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, go ahead and give it a like, a follow, comment, share it with your friends if you've liked it this far. And we will keep on keeping on, I guess, as we move forward with the episode. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever you're doing, having me on in the background. Doesn't matter. Really appreciate it. So this will be the last one for this episode. Am I the asshole for having my son miss his graduating road trip to watch his sibling? Yep. 100%. I don't give a fuck the situation. Yes. Motherfucker graduating and you fucking take that road trip away from him? Bro. My son just graduated high school, and we were paying so he could go on a road trip with his friends. He was supposed to go Wednesday. My wife's mother and father got in a car accident. They live in another state, so we had to drive about 4 hours. My wife was a wreck and wasn't in the position to drive since her dad was critical. He pulled through luckily. Good. Proud to hear that. We have 2 other kids, 11 and 7. We can't leave them at home alone, and we couldn't find a sitter to watch them on such short notice. We even tried our neighbors, but he couldn't do it. So that left our 18-year-old. He was pissed, to put it mildly, but did it. I told him we would make it up to him, and if he could ask if his friends could move it back a week. They couldn't, sadly. We were gone for 2 days. He pulled through. My wife stayed, and I headed back. I paid him for watching the kids and went to talk to him about getting him on the trip. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, and they should just be a state over. He blows up about ruining his trip, and there's no point going even through it should still 12 days of the trip. What? He called up a jerk and locked himself in his room. I think you're writing this emotionally because it's kind of hard to read this. I need another opinion since this was an emergency and he doesn't seem to care. His grandparents almost passed. before I get into your edit, I'm gonna give you my opinion on this. I understand the whole accident thing, not being able to find a sitter and everything like that, and I also understand why he's upset. I don't know why it would be 2 weeks. It's one state over. For a 2-week road trip to what? See one state? Come on. You can cover the entirety of the United States in 2 weeks. Well, maybe not the entirety, but a big, a big chunk. You know what I mean? You can go through at least 5 or 6. I don't think you're the asshole. I think what you should have done is just take the 11 and 7-year-old with you. And that could have prevented the entire situation. Yeah, so there's that. But other than that, it's up in the air. I'm kind of neutral on it, to be real with you. I think the 18-year-old kind of needs to chill out a little bit. He's still young. He could always go on a road trip again, and you guys pay for that. All right, so here's the edit. Well, he called his mom. Let's say it didn't end well. He did say basically the same thing he said to me. Wife had a breakdown on the phone with him. She sent him the injuries and pictures of Grandma and Grandpa. He finally came out of his room and told me he isn't going to go on the trip and the plane tickets aren't needed. Talked to my wife, never heard her that mad. Son confirmed what happened. He started yelling at her on the moment the call started, and she lost her shit when he called her selfish. On good news, Grandpa has some feeling back in his legs, which was a huge concern. For people saying we didn't have emergency plan, we do. First, my closest friend, vacation. Main babysitter, not available. Backup babysitter, not available. Last resort, grandparents, hospital. We tried to find someone that's why we even asked our neighbor, which I have a good relationship with. This will be my last update. Had a conversation with my son about everything. Mom and him will have a conversation when she is calmed down. His friends are not a state over. They are about 2 down at this point and going to Mexico. They are probably will get to the border tonight. They were supposed to be going to California. He had his passport and everything ready. This is a fucking mess. I haven't informed my wife yet and will wait until she is calmer. I'll leave off with, I hope none of you ever have to deal with this situation like this, and please remember your parents are human. Actually, good thing to say at the end there. I don't know, man. This is like such a neutral situation. I know it was an emergency. You exhausted all the resources. Resources didn't come through. Your last resource is the 18-year-old, and I'm sure it killed you to just have to fucking ruin that trip for him. So, hopefully your 18-year-old totally understands now. I mean, like, given that he's young. Hopefully he understands now, like, the gravity of the whole situation instead of just, fuck, I missed my trip. This is bullshit, and you guys work through that and improve on your relationship. Again, I'm going to remain neutral on this. I don't think you're the asshole in any sort of the situation. Understandably, your 18-year-old is upset, so I don't think he's an asshole either, or she. I'm glad the parents pulled through, so we'll just end it on that note. Good thing the parents pulled through, and I'm hoping that you guys all work all that out. So, weird situation, and good luck, man. That'll do it for this episode. If you haven't yet, go check out the advice episodes and keep an eye out for the Eagle on the Roo podcast, which is coming out shortly. We're working on the logos now and everything like that, just so we can get shit ready. I'm doing a little bit of editing here and there because it is a fuck ton of footage to go through. And thank you for being here and listening to this episode. I appreciate all of you. Yeah, have a good rest of your day, motherfucker.